What do we got? Kneecap. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna start off and the guy's mask says Italian, and these guys look a little European. So that's my first initial, just from this shot.
Did
I'm
you get
getting
that?
real Euro vibes here, but let's check it out.
Sneakerhead.
Tell me something about you. Something you've never told anyone else.
I'm a rapper. There are 80,000 native Irish speakers in Ireland.
Ní fuck. I chéad gan tanga ach lá
He was
náisiún.
Irish,
Three of us
not
have
Italian.
become rappers.
You might know the words, but you don't understand the language.
Is one of real for horse from Kyo?
George go studio again.
What?
Agus wrench beats.
Can you like? Well, you hear Abbey Roadie? Abbey what? Arbor Shawbush and Roland 808. You're sure are gonna be as real like for Kyoto if we like grammar. When she's blast us, been the diary seeing hip hop. Could you on your? Do I look like I want to read subtitles? Ian, dog, tree.
Consider this here's the knock at the door before the knock at the door. Him and his wee pals' music. It's drawn attention from all the wrong places.
Nothing but a H-double-O-D, low-life scum.
We'll end up face down in an alley.
Is that Michael
You
Fassbender?
have a life, a career, a future. Remember, I can take it all away from you like that.
Special delivery.
Hey!
No more music. Every day I am not captured is a psychological victory against the occupiers.
Kneecap, so-called Irish language rappers promoting antisocial behaviour and violence.
Stay for the talk of enough time, it's just useless.
I never want to see you again.
I never want to see you again.
Well, look who it is. Bone Thugs and No Harmony.
But those hoots have to say this city doesn't need to be hearing.
He's here asserting his right to speak Irish.
A Belfast band has been criticised for chanting anti-British slogans.
Gach focal Gaelic literature. Sé pille, a skilter or some search in the heron. Boris Billy or Shadavik.
Why don't you just speak the Queen's English? Oh, come on, let's go. Can you hear the fucking cringy Dr. Drainer out again?
That looks like fun. That looks like a lot of fun movies.
It does look fun. It's giving
That's
me
a pro-Ireland movie right there. 100% that is pro-Ireland. Hell yes. From the streets. Love it.
Okay, hold on. It does look like fun. It's giving me Train Spotting vibes. It's giving me something that it feels extremely European, like something that came out of Berlin, before the wall fell.
It's giving I would say 80s, 90s vibes to it, maybe.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
There is so deep in the Irish broke that it just makes me think, like, what if they had done One Love Bob Marley in a deep Jamaican patois so hard that people actually had to have subtitles at the bottom of the screen to understand?
I would have preferred that, honestly. I would have preferred that. I'm like, no, don't clean up your language just for white audiences. Be real. Be your real authentic selves. I'll catch up with the subtitles,
And it didn't hinder you at all, like understanding, like watching the movie, like because the language was so different, or the type of English used wasn't something that you were familiar with or used to.
It's one of the. Jamaican patois, it can get thick. All right, just like any regional dialect, it can get thick as peanut butter, and you can sometimes be like, "Huh?"
Exactly.
And but in context and speak, you can kind of pick up on it. Kind of like watching a Shakespearean play. The first half hour to an hour, you're like hanging on, but then like afterwards, like your brain clicks in, you start picking it up a lot easier and better. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, now I can see the subtleties in this, this plot,
Yeah, no, this one looks fun. It's definitely a political statement about, Ireland and how some people in Ireland, I don't know much about this, so I hopefully I don't butcher this, but how some people in Ireland feel about, the occupiers and this band, this rap group using their music to make a statement about that. And actually showing us a different side of what you actually see from European flicks, because you don't really get to see European hoods. You know, like, did anyone really know that was a thing?
You know what? I feel like a lot of British shows in the last 10, 15 years, you've getting seen a lot of chavs, a lot of like, you get to see a lot, what was it? People Who Just Do Nothing was a fun, fantastic series about a bunch of just British deadbeats, but whatever. I'm like, but that's showing it's a real, it's showing real, like, of like, hey, this is actually a society that exists, and this is how they think, this is how they talk, this is what they do. It's a completely different social class that you don't see or you don't get if you're not from there, you're not familiar with it. It's a wonderful look into, like, ooh, tell me about this neighborhood or these people that I didn't know existed in this country.
Yeah, but I want to keep the Brits out of this one, because apparently from this movie...
Actually, you can't, because actually that's the exact sentiment they want too. Let's get the Brits out of this.
No, but... No, honestly, because from this trailer, it looks like they wanted the Brits out of it too, and that's the reason why they were making the music that they were making. It wasn't
and
just
those murals. And those murals are real murals, by the way. They didn't do that for the movie. Those exist.
Right.
That's absolutely, like, because my wife and I are actually going to Ireland in the beginning of August. This movie's coming out while we're going to be in Ireland, so I'm excited about that. And so, like, we're watching like some, you know, Irish tourism videos, whatever, and they'll show like those murals were like, oh no, that's the whole IRA anti-British thinking is still vibrant and still very much there in the Republic of Ireland.
Well, I mean,
and I love it, and we never got to hear this story because obviously we live in a British forward country, and you always get the pretty much the rosy end of this thing, and so you don't get, you know, some of the stories that were anti-British kind of get tamped down. But I am all for anti-British movies coming out. No offense to England, because don't worry, you guys are fine. But I'd love to see, like, I want to see this sentiment of just like, hey, here are people that were like, you know, pressed down and weren't able to have their voices heard, and so they had to turn violent to get their voices heard. I want to hear their voices now. I want to see those movies now. Tell those stories of things that happened not that long ago, like in our lifetime.
Right. I mean, I think this movie could be fun, and I also think that it could be fun with a deeper message. Am I going to actively search it out? No. If it comes across one of my suggestions, then yeah, I'll probably watch it, and, you know, with an open mind to see what I can learn. The main thing, the reason why I like these types of movies from this coming from other parts of the world, is just that it gives me an opportunity to see a place that I haven't yet been to, and like you said, see how different social classes live in those places, where if here in Canada, we know our experience. We have our experience from the upper class and the very wealthy to the lower class, and people are basically living just above the line of poverty or in poverty. But that's Canada, and it just doesn't seem so bad when it happens here. You know, it's hard to make a political statement about that here. But to see an Irish tale of what their not so great existence may look like due to whatever political reasons, and people standing up against that, and seeing where we're white men, because it's not just black people anymore, but seeing where white men from the hood, how they get down and what the hoods look like, that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, right?
For that reason alone, I'd probably watch it, because it's like, finally, it's not one person that looks like me.
And also, it is great too, because you get to see them being inspired from American culture, from American hoods, or America. A lot of black culture in America was fostered for a reason, because a lot of things are happening, and the fostering of hip hop, the creation of hip hop, came from certain things happening and certain things coming out at the right time. And then that inspired other people who were like, hey, I was oppressed too, for different reasons in a different you know, society entirely, but I get what they're rapping about, and that is inspiring me to rap about our conflict and our oppression that's going on over here. You know,
relate to it.
Exactly. Like, I mean, obviously different circumstances, but still same backbone. And I love that. I love seeing that. Like, even in the trailer, the guy's like, oh yeah, this, you know, electronic thing was a flop on the market, but for hip hop, this was what was needed. Like, like, what was it? I forgot the exact. I mean, it may have been that exact one, but I think it was a different system during the 1976 or 77 blackout in New York. A lot of music stores were robbed, but a lot of the equipment from that, the people that took that equipment used that to make hip hop. Like that would have happened without this thing happening first, because it was unaffordable electronics. But then circumstances and situations happened. People acquired them. Let's just say acquired. And then they got to use that and use it to make music and tell their story. And that was the creation of that. And that's the same circumstance in this trailer that I'm picking up is, hey, you guys want to do hip hop or whatever. Here's literally the electronic device that can do repeats, that could do loops, that could do sampling. You can take anything you hear and then use that, turn it into a beat, and then you can rap on that and then create your song, create your music, create your art, tell your story. And I love that. That's an inspiration of like, these people did it. We can do it to tell our story too. And right. That's what I'm loving about this. It's like, I'm all for it. Let's hear your story. Let's hear your voice.
Right. And apparently they're like, this is an actual Irish rap group that's here doing this. And every time I hear rap from that part of the world, I'm just like, what? That exists?
Right.
But
and also their language too, and they speak like, hey, we're speaking Gaelic or whatever dialect they're speaking that was not allowed because the Brits are like, well, you speak the proper the Queen's English, you know, like, and then they're like, because this is our language, we want to speak our language, you know, and so and that's I love it.
The trio is actually called Kneecap, so those three guys are actually named Kneecap, so they just named the movie after them, and apparently this movie premiered at Sundance this year, so fine, but so it's already so it has
the laurels. It has laurels in the trailer, right? Yeah. That's what matters to me.
Those little leaves.
I won an award at a festival. Those laurels.
I just like as I said, I like the fact that these guys actually seem to know what they're talking about. That line about Bone Thugs and Not Harmony, like, really, you have to be a hip hop head to know Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like, that's not just that's
not a casual surface level dig. That's a deep dig a little bit. Like, you got to know something. You got to know. Then you got to go. Then you get down. And
Bone Thugs haven't dropped an album in at least 20 years. You know what I mean? Like,
they haven't had to.
Just hip hop. So for that, I mean, if they give the music and the culture the respect that it deserves, I already have positive feelings about it. And I'm interested because I want to hear what they have to say about, you know, that part of the world and its political system and their social injustices and how these guys, their life in overcoming it. And if you really think about it, it's like basically what Eminem did with 8 Mile. He told his life story through a movie. So
like, hey, there were some shitty parts of Detroit and here's where I'm from.
Yeah.
And there's still people there. I got out, but other people didn't, you know? And so
exactly.
I love it. I'm for it. I'm down for it. I dig it. I'm looking forward to Kneecap. And you know what? If I, like, while I'm in Ireland and I do see that in a movie theater, I might go see it in Ireland.
Oh my God, a movie theater?
A movie theater? I'm hoping Cineplex is not in Ireland. All right, if Cineplex is in Ireland, I'm not coming.